want to say I'm actually really looking forward to this one, and I've got some fun stuff.
Oh, good.
It's surprising, and it links to Kelly. Kelly, did you read anything or look anything up that would have to do with you and or I?
Was Val Kilmer the monster in the cave?
No, but that would be so cool.
No, okay. I don't think I did.
Okay,
no.
Perfect. Okay, perfect.
Did you co-author this? Is that the reveal?
I'm Ted.
I was gonna say, before we jump into it, I did want to bring up the last time. So last week, whenever we did Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, I don't remember doing this, but it came to my door, and then I was like, oh yeah, I purchased. I saw you in the bathtub and other folk rhymes, and I had some that I had bookmarked that I wanted to read you guys to.
Yes, please. So for the listener, assuming I keep this in, which I probably will now, I did cut out me reading all of the titles of his things because that was at the end. We were all gassed and it was boring. So I cut out about 15 minutes of me reading titles and then us like doing sea-level riffs on them and then moving on.
Yeah, I love cutting a sea-level riff.
Yeah.
Okay, hit us with it, Chelsea.
Yeah, bring it on.
Okay. They don't have titles, so I can't give you a title. It's also reading level 1. So if I fuck this up,
that's perfect. That's about
going back in time. Crybaby, crybaby, wipe your little eye. Go and tell your mommy to give you a piece of pie. Baby, baby, suck your toe all the way to Mexico. When you get there, cut your hair and don't forget your underwear.
Okay,
that's a full
lot of questions.
I have no answers.
That's definitely about like an abused spouse running away to Mexico, right? Cut your hair.
Oh, she's cutting her hair.
Man.
Don't forget your underwear.
Literal baby.
Oh, geez.
No, Nate, it's grade level 1. You're reading too deep.
I'm gonna go over to some story about witches. Down in the desert where the purple grass dies, there sat a witch with yellow-green eyes. That was one.
Oh, that was it.
That was
She's just sitting there with yellow-green eyes. I mean, that's creepy.
In the desert, just sitting. It was the night of Halloween when all the witches could be seen. Some were black, some were green, some were like a turkey bean.
What's a turkey bean?
I had the same question. What is a turkey bean?
Is that like a giblet? A giblet?
All right. So this one was a little bit creepy. Just 4 lines. There was a boy who would not go to bed. His eyes got so tired they fell from his head. And I was just like, oh, that imagery as a child would be like, so if I get tired, my eyes will fall out.
It feels like that.
Yeah.
You have to close your eyelids to keep them in.
Oh,
otherwise they get free, right?
I didn't know.
Like your eyes have stuff they want to do.
We're just restricting them. And then this is my last one. Someone is under the bed, whoever can it be? I'm getting very nervous. Sally, come in with me. Sally crawled under the bed. Whoever did she see? There is someone here, she said, but I think it is me.
Whoa, this one's about identity.
Yeah, that's what I was going for. And I was like, that's heavy. That's heavy for a kid.
I love the I think it's me. Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's like the end of Annihilation.
No spoilers.
Yeah, I haven't watched it.
Oh, why did everyone's
like,
no. I tried
with
to cover my ears
on.
over my headphones. What?
Yeah.
Like,
hey, it worked. I didn't spoil it, so
we had to give you a visual cue. Thank you.
Yeah. No, I'm horrible with words, but body language all day.
Yeah, same. Ditto.
So I read the entire book. Very happy that I purchased it. I don't know if that's true.
Were there any overarching themes that you
No,
want to share?
absolutely none. Just that most of them made no sense at all.
So it's a published book of gibberish for children that gives them no insight into reality, aside from maybe identity and spousal abuse.
Yeah.
Cool.
I feel like we need to go and analyze each and every poem at some point, but today might not be that day. I just wanted to introduce you guys to the other book that Alvin Schwartz had written.
Let's pivot and we'll do an episode entirely on the first words of every single one. And you can just read each of those first words and then we'll react.
And what
do you think this
all
means?
Of our listeners.
Maybe it's a Zodiac killer thing though. We might figure something out.
Oh, we've got a cipher.
Yeah. buddies.
Hi.
Hey, listeners, it's Debut Buddies. I'm Nate. I'm one of the buddies.
I'm Chelsea. I'm
Kelly.
another buddy.
We're going to get
we
this.
do this
We're
every
gonna
time.
figure it out. We're going to do it. Chelsea, would you like to go?
I'm Chelsea, and I'm another buddy.
And I'm Kelly. I'm the third buddy.
We're all buddies around here, and you, listeners, are buddies too, whether you like it or not. So just stop resisting, okay?
Who you call buddy, pal?
It's getting kind of annoying. This week, we're going to be talking, because of the spookiness of the season, thunder, ghosts, bone rattling. This is the Foley we have available.
Okay, I was going to try to do sounds, but it's not going to sound good, especially
rock
on mic.
Slowly grinding against rock.
Yeah. That's
Terrifying.
right. Just two Dwayne Johnsons dry humping in the darkness. We're going to be talking about the first creepypasta to just really go right into the bowl of cold spaghetti that you're served at a Halloween party. And someone tells you it's witch's hair or brains or whatever. Because that's what creepypasta is. Right, guys?
Yep. Spooky spaghetti.
Yeah. Pasta that's creepy. What are the other ones?
Menacing.
A lot of the gummy worms. That's kind of like a pasta too.
Yeah.
So
sugar pasta.
Cookie. You put the cookie with the worms.
Penne's pretty creepy too because they're little penises. It's gross.
What? I've actually seen penis-shaped pasta.
There you go.
Yeah.
Can you imagine just like making mac and cheese with that?
Right.
It's like Thursday and you're like, I guess I'm eating penis pasta.
I always do the fun-shaped pastas. So if I do, or the fun-shaped mac and cheese. So like I get unicorns and I get the frozen one because that's the one that they keep putting out. They also put out the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle one from like 6 years ago. I buy macaroni and cheese every week. This is a problem. I'm 12.
Did we say which creepypasta we're doing?
Yeah, we're going to actually talk about creepypasta, the internet phenomenon that is ongoing, but started in the year 2000 or 2001 with Ted the Caver, which is acknowledged universally as the first creepypasta ever on the internet. It's on an Angel Fire website that still stands with all of the eye blood causing text layout and font designs that you could ever dream of or wish for. Like I got exhausted. Like my eyes got so tired. I made the browser so small so that I was scanning really short distances because I was just like gray text on a black background with occasional dark blue. Just like my eyes were crossing and blurring out. And I was also on mushrooms, but I mean.
So, okay, I have what I think can be a tip for you there. So this is so old school internet. I did look at the source code for it just because I was curious, and it is just raw HTML, and like there are no style guides or anything. So it is essentially human readable if you look at the source, and then you can look at it on a white page. So and like normal text. So you do that in Chrome, just right click, view source, boom. Well, so why I was doing that was because I was trying to see what dates were these published, because I wasn't clear if this was published serially along with the story. Like, was it over multiple days or did it all go up at once? I wasn't sure, especially since there are no comments on this, which I also thought was crazy. No comments on it?
Yeah, comment technology does not exist on this website.
Whoa. Yeah. So that felt really crazy to me. So I was just like poking around to see, and I couldn't tell when it was published from any of the source code. So I looked at the way back machine to see when it was first crawled, and it was crawled back in 2000. The snapshots are really spotty over there, so I can't say for sure like when it was published. So I'm still unclear on that, but I compared their first snapshot to 2000 to the text of today. It's identical. It definitely hasn't been updated at all. So this is like a relic.
This was effectively a blog before blogs existed, though not really, obviously.
So, okay, had you guys heard about this creepypasta before we decided to do
No,
this?
this was the first time I've ever heard of it.
Same.
Yeah,
and
I've read some, but yeah, this one eluded me somehow.
Yeah. Oh, I've read like plenty of creepypastas in my day. But yeah, I had never heard of this one, which was crazy because then I just like Googled the word creepypasta to see what was going to come up. And this is like, this is everywhere. This is mentioned 1,000 times. I guess I had never Googled creepypasta before. But this does predate the word, right? Like the word creepypasta
it has to, right?
didn't exist until like 2004 or 7. I can't remember. I didn't write it down.
And for the listener, creepypasta means...
Oh, sure. So a creepypasta is, so that word comes from copy pasta. Let's start there. Copy pasta is like a little snippet of text that you copy paste for whatever reason. So this could be like, I don't know, what your passwords, or don't copy paste your passwords, but you know, you're doing it. We're all doing it. You're copy pasting your passwords. That's your personal copy pasta. Or like, and this word is an evolution of that, specifically referring to creepy stories that get copy pasted around. And maybe I imagine that they were like emailed to each other back when we were doing those like
chain emails.
Yeah. And like, I know 4chan is where like the idea of creepypasta really originated. So it was people writing usually tiny horror stories that you would copy and paste and send to a friend or whatever. And this one is very large. It would take you a little bit of time if you wanted to copy paste it. But yeah, creepypasta today now just means like a tiny scary story on the internet. They're essentially urban legends.
They're like modern day urban legends.
Yeah. Internet urban urby
leggies.
I'm trying out something new. Urby elves. Did that work?
Urby elves. Okay.
Webby legs.
Oh God.
We're doing great today. Great.
Yeah, we're starting strong. So yeah, like Slender Man, a creepypasta people's heard of.
He's the one that everybody knows.
The Rugrats theory is one that I also saw.
Wait, what's the Rugrats theory? What is it? Is it related to that Mirror episode? Is it like is it an alternate universe? Is it that the oh no, here's what I bet it is. I bet it's like the parents are like really abusive and Tommy is actually like 15 and like in a mental asylum.
Oh my God.
He's imagining all of this.
Is that what it is?
I don't know.
It's darker. So the Rugrats theory.
It's darker than my thing?
I mean, a little bit, yeah. The Rugrats theory, so the original version is that the Rugrats were really a figment of Angelica's demonic and unimaginable imagination, which I wouldn't put unimaginable and imagination back to back, but I don't write the wiki, I'm sorry. So examples would be Chucky died in 1986 along with his mother, which is why Chaz is a nervous wreck all the time. Tommy was born in 1988 but was stillborn, and that's why Stu is constantly in the basement making toys for the son who never had a chance to live.
Oh no.
The DeVilles had an abortion in 1990. Angelica couldn't figure out whether it would be a boy or a girl, thus creating the twins. So yeah, it goes on. I'm not going to keep reading it because it's already fucking dark, and both of you are making expressions of horror and doubt.
Now that you're reading it, I do feel like I've heard this before.
Yeah.
That is much darker.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's bad stuff.
It's not good. It's not good. That's just how a lot of the internet is, I think. That's not like specific to creepypasta. But we all have our favorite. We all know the best one, right?
Please tell us.
Who was phone?
Who was phone?
Who was phone? Who what? You guys.
I don't know who was phone. Who was phone?
You're so upset with us right now.
Who was phone?
Who was phone?
Who was phone? Ooh, that was almost Jerry Seinfeld. Who was phone?
Oh yeah,
That's pretty good.
What's the deal about these phones? So here it is. So you're with your honey and you're making out when the phone rings. You answer it and the voice is, "What are you doing with my daughter?" You tell your girl and she say, "My dad is dead." Then who was phone?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it could have been the mother, right? The dad's dead.
There's a longer version and it specifies that it's a male voice, but
oh great,
the shorter one was snappier. Creepypastas today are by and large pretty disappointing. I don't find a lot of good ones anymore, but I like the funny ones like that. But this is from the dawn of creepypasta, I think. That's how I think of it, at least.
So like reality TV or many of these things, it degrades over time.
Yeah, that's actually something that I wanted to talk about. So let's talk about the structure of this story.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is, like Nate said, it's written like a blog post, and it's presented as though the author is uploading journal entries from a spooky experience he had in the woods exploring a cave. That like episodic nature of a creepypasta, I have only seen one other time. And it's modern. And so I'm talking about Dear David, which was an ongoing creepypasta. I don't even know if it really counts as creepypasta.
Oh, was it the Twitter one?
It was the Twitter one.
You were telling me about? Yeah.
David Ellis, who is an artist, and it was like a hoax, but he presented it on his like personal Twitter over the course of weeks, maybe months. And it started as like a haunting in his house, and he was uploading like weird pictures and videos, and it was very compelling. And the whole time, like, I have never turned on notifications for somebody on Twitter except for in this event, because I was like, tell me about David.
Who was David?
Who was David? A lie.
Oh,
just like phone.
Just like phone. Just like phone. I do think that they are making a Dear David movie. I don't know. That's fun. I will send you guys a link to it, because it's not like a thread, but he uploaded it all to this other website that like lets you go through the tweets in order as though it were a thread. But when that was happening, I was like, I love this like immersive storytelling. I love like that I can't just sit down and be like, okay, today I'm reading a scary story. Like I'm waiting for the next update. It was like Creepypasta, but network TV.
Yeah. It's serialized.
Yeah.
Well, at least what I did for my research, it sounded like they did post it spread out.
So, okay, what else did you find? Because here's what I saw that I am just floored by. So these were posted as early as 2001. Actually, I think I saw one on the Way Back Machine in 2000.
In 2000. Yeah, that's when it started, was December 2000.
No, that's when the date on the thing is. But I had a date like March of 2000 on the Way Back Machine.
Interesting.
But yeah, the date of the first post is December 2000. Or the first journal entry, I guess. And yeah, so I'm not totally sure if it was serialized, but I did read something later that this like didn't make the rounds until 2004.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I think it was picked up by a like spelunkologist society. How do spelunkologist society? That sounds like
spelunkolology.
I kept trying to pronounce this word. It was like spelunkologist society.
Oh, there's another syllable in there?
There was two L's, and it made it sound like I was saying lol, and I was like lol. Meh. But they said that's who was the first like readers that found it.
Yeah, so he put this up in 2000.
Yeah,
and he just maintained the website, no comments, no likes, no little rushes of endorphins until
he said like that's the thing that I am also confused by, because at the end he talks about all the people reaching out to him out of concern.
Yeah, I was confused about that too.
There isn't a little like contact section. I don't think. I didn't dig that deep, but I don't think there was a way to contact him directly. I think it was all people that knew him.
Yeah. Well, because he says specifically, thanks for like stopping by the house several times. I'm sorry I didn't answer the door. So presumably he's getting phone calls, and like it's 2000, 2001. So somebody's leaving him like answering machine messages when they call.
So is this just really group text? This was just a group text to be like, you guys, I'm fine. This is where I'm at. This is where it's at.
I mean, he even said that. He was like, I'm uploading it on the blog to update you all at once.
Yeah.
I think that's where the story as a design conceit begins to show cracks. There are a couple of places where a couple of places where you're like, okay, there's definitely better ways to be communicating with people than this way at this time.
Yeah.
What do you mean? You didn't get all your updates from angelfire.com?
Yeah, right. If the goal is to be hyper isolated, then yeah, it makes sense. But the other thing that got me is that the whole idea about the annotation of the entries and the opening page where it says, hey, I'm keeping this I'm changing all these names. You're not going to be able to, I'm not telling you where to go, had to happen, I guess, the day before the fateful final departure or something. I don't know. I think there are certain there are plot holes here that are kind of interesting. But why don't we talk about the plot before we get into the holes in the plot?
Yeah, let's do it.
Fun.
So Ted the Caver, you start with a page that just shows like rippling cave wall effect, and click here to enter Ted's cave page.
Yeah. So, okay, I will confess though that this was long enough that at some point I was like, man, they are gonna like jump scares on the internet were big for a long time. Toward the end, it's gonna be like, then the weird breeze in the tunnel is a fart. Ha 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 ha. And
well, like, and I was waiting even for like one of the photo links to be one of those like quick pop-up quick times where it's like.
But I guess that stuff didn't happen until like mid 2000s. This was 2001. It was a more earnest time.
Well, and they're dedicated to the suspension of disbelief here is strong. Like there's nothing. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think what's brilliant is the amount of dedication put into describing caving and the activities and really sort of being boring. Like because I don't want to say the story's boring, but like to really set up the creepiness, you have to set up the mundane, right? Like you have to give us the world of common day where, oh, hey, so this is mostly about two guys trying to make a hole bigger. And it sounds really boring, but they're having fun with it. And they got a drill and they got a hammer and they got a chisel and they're doing a thing.
A DeWalt drill.
DeWalt drill.
Boy,
that's right.
Is product placement.
There's no affiliate links in this Angel Fire website. They could be making so much money. So Ted presumably is talking about how he and his buddy B. Well, first, we start with a page that is all disclaimer. Like, hey, look, I'm keeping this to tell people about my experience in this cave. I'm not going to tell you where the cave is because you're not supposed to go there, I guess. Like he's trying to protect the reader from the jump. Like I'm trying to protect you. I'm also not going to tell you anybody's names because I want to keep everybody's secret, which, I mean, duh, you're doing that because they're made up. So plus it's spookier when there's lacks of details in places and lots of details in other places, you get misdirected and scared. And I like that. This is very thoughtfully constructed is what I'm getting at. So this opening page, you just basically get kind of a description of like, hey, we had this weird time in this cave. We're really good we're good at doing this. My buddy is going with me. He's a superstar caver, but he got injured, so he can't cave as hard as I can cave right now, but he still caves hard. So don't say shit about B.
No, he's tough.
And then kind of like, hey, we found a cool hole. And there's some wind coming out of it, and there's truck rumbles that are happening. We think they're truck rumbles, and we're gonna go make the hole bigger. That's our plan. We got to get in there because we got to check out that virgin hole. You know what I'm saying?
Still nothing sexual.
Not at all.
No,
nothing. One thing described.
I didn't imply anything. I don't. Then they start talking about their work in the caves. And this is where I think really the construction is very interesting because they spend a full, we're talking like a full width web page, 4 scrolls, just talking about how you do cave hole widening and what it's like. And it's like, hey, we got to drill this thing and we got to chisel this thing. And we did this in phases and we get tired and then we would stop and then we would sit and talk and then we would do it some more. And you get just kind of you get lulled into a sort of state of like comfort with the situation. It makes you feel like you're there in a very good way, I think.
Yeah, it's immersive. It was so, I don't know. I felt like I learned about caving.
Yeah. Did you guys watch the documentary? I think it was National Geographic on the guys that cave dove to save the soccer team.
Oh
no, I haven't yet.
Oh, so good. But whenever they were talking about stuff, because like the amount of claustrophobia that happens in caves, and like they kind of described it really well about how they like had to crawl through a bunch of stuff. I was like, I'm just gonna throw up, and this is so uncomfortable.
Yeah. It's extremely uncomfortable.
And talking about the darkness, like as it gets so dark, if you turn off your light, you can't see anything in front of you. And he like described it as like you'll hear something before you see it. Something will get you before you.
Have you experienced that?
Have I been trapped in a cave?
I wasn't trapped, but I was in a cave and they turned out all the lights.
What? Why did you go to a cave?
It was a field trip.
Bastards.
Where they were like, let's experience the most horrifying thing your tiny little 12-year-old brain has ever experienced.
Rude.
Yeah, they turned off all the lights. And while the lights were off, they were like, just so you know, it is human nature that if we left the lights off, you would all start crawling and scrambling and trying to find your way out. And I was like, cool. So have we thought about turning them on? But while they were off, they passed out spearmint lifesavers.
And had I've done that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. That one's fun.
Yeah, that made it all okay.
I did that in the middle of the woods.
Oh yeah, fun.
You ever cut a grape in half and microwave it?
What?
No, what happens then?
So if you cut a grape in half and lay it with the insides up on a plate and microwave it, it arc sparks.
Whoa!
Yeah, it's really cool. It only does it like for a second, then there's not that much juice in there. It's just one grape.
Okay.
But it's a neat phenomenon.
But it won't harm the microwave, right?
No, yeah. I mean, don't like put a fork
today.
in there with it or anything. But
Well,
no deal.
Yeah, I went to. There's a cave attraction in Colorado called Cave of the Winds that I went to as a kid, and they do the same thing. They do like, okay, now you got to experience total cave darkness because this is what the pioneers would have experienced when they discovered this in the first place. And it's like, I don't think we have to.
Do I have to?
Yeah. I don't think this is informative. Like, I've been in the dark before.
I get it. Dark. I don't like it.
That would be like saying, oh, yeah, like in the movie Revenant, Leonardo DiCaprio gets mauled by a bear because he was a pioneer. So you should experience that, kids.
A lot of crazy shit happened. The pioneers did crazy shit.
Yeah.
The Donner Party ate a bunch of people, so you should too.
There's a great episode of You're Wrong about that. They didn't eat that many of them.
No,
maybe
they didn't eat that many.
They probably didn't eat that many.
Did eat a kid.
Oh yeah.
And
Wouldn't you,
not
though?
like, oh, the kid is dead, let me eat him. It was like, that kid's about to die.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna withhold resources.
I'm gonna tie that kid down.
Then I'm gonna eat that kid.
Foie gras a little bit.
I don't really know what foie gras is.
That's where you force feed a goose until it throws up the food, and then you eat the thrown up food.
Okay, I'm confused.
Why would you do
that?
That's
what it throws up food. I thought I was like just cooked in duck fat. It's just cooked in fat.
Oh, is that what it is?
Are people out here eating duck?
Well, what's the other thing? What's the thing where you force feed them?
I don't know. I'm very confused.
This is not about Ted the Caver.
I don't want to Google what is force fed food.
We don't need to get into.
No, we'll do that in another episode. Let's get back to Ted.
Yeah. So they're trying to they find this hole in this cave. So they find this cave that people have been into, and they're just really interested in going and trying to get on the other side of this smaller hole that they found that's not big enough for a person yet. It's about the size of a man's fist. And they want to get through there because they think some cool stuff might be back there, or at very least, they will be the first ones to be exploring that side of the cave. And that's just cool adventure. It's just manifest destiny, people. Americans deserve to be everywhere without question. Let us go. Nothing can stand in our way. So they make the hole bigger, and they spend a lot of time making the hole bigger. And we spend several pages of text talking about the whole embiggening process.
Yeah. This is 10 pages long, and that was like the first 6 or 7 pages. It's just them making the hole bigger.
They're just really working that hole, They're just trying to make it bigger.
They invent tools. We know who welded the tools for them. Their neighbors. Mm-hmm. And we bought this drill bit, but it was too big, and maybe it would have worked on this other substance, but it's not going to work on our hole. So we've got to use our original drill bit, which we broke and a couple inches lost, but we were able to still use it and continue working on the hole. Okay, Ted, we gotta.
So they just keep working on this hole, and then one of the days when they're drilling, they hear a spooky scream come out of the hole, and it's it seems to be like a 7-second long human shriek. that might also be a combination of a cougar dying. I think he says a cougar dying and a human screaming put together. And that gives them pause. They're like, oh, that's weird. This isn't great.
But just for like a second.
They also notice that this wind that comes out of the cave stops suddenly around the times that they've been like working for a while. And they sort of think that's weird.
Yeah, they have that we learned like a caving lingo. What was it? If it blows, it goes.
Yeah.
So if there's a breeze, then we know that like the tunnel keeps going and there's another exit. So it is weird for it to stop.
Yeah. Yeah. Shouldn't happen that way. So they keep working on this hole. They're trying to get it bigger. They take a couple of weeks off. There's a lot of these protracted breaks where they've got other stuff going on in their lives, which I think, again, like, this is good story structure to just lead us away from thinking about anything to, hey, look, they're just like, these people are having normal life and all this is really mundane still to them. They're not putting A and B together to C. They're just hanging out. And they're doing what we would all do, which is like, oh, I think I saw a shadow, but whatever. You know, like, you don't really worry about it unless you see a bunch of shadows all the time. And then you're like, oh, no.
You know, when I'm going to start worrying about it, they bring that dang dog into the cave.
Yeah.
The cave is like, no. And now I'm like, the dog doesn't like it.
Yeah. The dog who they set up, they set the dog up as like seasoned at this too. Like, this dog goes into caves.
Yeah.
And this is the only time the dog is like, no, this is bad. Guys, this is bad. I'm a dog. Listen to the dog.
I'm with her. Hashtag I'm with her.
Yeah. What was the dog's name?
Whip.
Oh yeah, Whip.
Yeah.
Which, interesting. Whip got a real name. I don't know. If I'm like going through the Rolodex of my friends in my brain and I'm like, oh, I know a guy with a dog named Whip who was just in an injury, who loves caving, whose name starts with a B. Like, I got putting these things together, you know what I mean?
The dog is spooked and they kind of just keep working even though the dog's there, and they have like a breakthrough. Yay, we've succeeded. And then they take another break and they come back with their buddy Joe. Does Joe come back right after? Does that sound about right?
First he gets his like body into it. And then he's like, okay, now we're going to back out. And then they're like, Joe, and he got through to some stuff before he went back. And then they brought Joe after that.
Oh, right. Okay.
And Joe has a full name, not an initial for some reason.
Yeah. They're still calling him Joe. I think Joe still gets quotation marks around it the first time, right? Like, it's not actually Joe.
Okay.
It could be any Joe. G.I.
Oh, it's Joe Schmo.
Most likely.
Schmo. Joe Cool. Popular.
It could be Joe Cool.
Yeah. Popular Snoopy mascot. Joe Cool. Joe Camel. Smoking some cigarettes.
He's too big. He can't fit in there. He can't fit in there.
He has to be really small.
You're not going to get through such and such tomb with those humps.
Floyd's tomb. Yeah. And so in the beginning, they're like, we named it Floyd's tomb. Haha. Because of that guy who got stuck in a cave and he died there because he was stuck because it was so tiny. Ha 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 ha. What are you doing? Don't do that. Don't say that.
It's like, do you remember a couple years ago somebody was like, hey, we're making a new Titanic.
Oh my God.
We're gonna make a new boat and name it the Titanic. And it's like, come on, guys.
Just use your noodle. Come on.
So yeah, okay. So Chelsea, yeah, you're right. So they make progress. They get the hole a little wider. They go home. They don't bring the dog again. Whip never comes back. Whip is introduced to demonstrate the primordial terror lurking within the cave that humans ignore because humans traditionally idiots. And then they go back and they totally pop that hole open. They got it wide enough that our wonderful Ted is able to get his head in, and he describes in just long and graphic detail how he goes into the hole with one arm up and one arm back, and he's shimmying through the thing, and it sounds horrible.
This was so stressful to me.
Yeah.
I was like, so I listened to this because I am a busy bee, and I was listening to this like while driving down the freeway, and at some point I realized, like, I was hunched up over my steering wheel, like I was white knuckling the steering wheel. I was holding my breath while he was holding his, because he describes how he like exhales all of his breath to collapse his lungs enough to like squeeze through what is called the squeeze, like a few more inches before he breathes, and then he can't get a full lungful of air because there just isn't enough room. And I was like, no, like I had goosebumps. I was like gonna cry. Like, oh, this was so stressful.
Yeah.
And this isn't even the scary part. This is just
caving.
No,
this is caves.
He's pushing through, and literally at points just like pushing himself forward with his toes to inch forth. And then we get a little comedy break because B took a picture of his butt hanging out of the hole. And he's like, here's a picture of me of my best side hanging out of the hole. Thanks, B. That's funny. So he sort of slides himself forward. He gets through Floyd's tomb, and he gets into this area where the cave opens up. And so we get this slow description of how he can get kind of to crawling, and then he's sort of like hunchbacked walking through, and then finally it opens up in this larger area. And he's in the area very briefly, but he sees some crystals and some interesting sort of stalactite and stalagmite growths. And he also sees a symbol scratched into the wall that he describes as like that Blair Witch Project thing.
Yeah.
And this symbol, if you cock your head completely 90 degrees, is the word high for one thing. I mean, it says high.
Oh, let me continue.
So it could be high or IH, or it could not be that at all. There's not, I looked at the symbol all the ways that I could think of to try to discern something from it, but I don't know that there's anything specific there.
I'm now going, I was like, I think we're all going through it trying to, I didn't look at it very, very much. When they said it was going to be like the Blair Witch, I was like, that tracks. I didn't look at it very hard after that.
Okay, so but he also describes, he says that it's this image, which he couldn't get a picture of, but he did draw it for us, and it's on his website. But he said that the cave painting had this, and then a bunch of humans with their hands raised surrounding it.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. So there's a bunch of people like praying to it or cowering from it.
Right. Yeah.
And he also describes that there is a round rock, like what we could assume is just a perfectly round boulder or stone that is in this open area too, which is odd because that doesn't normally happen.
Large boulder the size of a small boulder. Do you guys remember?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'm just more online than you guys are. That's fine.
I like it. I like it.
Okay, let's move on. I'll keep my memes to myself.
He's getting a little anxious, but he's not really terrified at this point. He's ready to check out, I think, right? Is there a spook that happens here, really?
No, but there is a funny part here. It made me angry. I shouted, but it's funny looking at my notes. Before he goes in through into this first chamber, he and Brian agree. So, I don't know why I called him Brian.
You know who these people are. That's what Chelsea was alluding to at the beginning of the podcast.
I'm Ted. It's me. I'm Ted. Before Ted goes in, they agree. So B can't follow him. B is like, first he's got that injury, but he's also just like whiter than Ted is. Mm-hmm. So it's just Ted in there, and they agree that Ted can go in there, but he can't go further than shouting distance. They have to be able to hear each other. And then the minute he's on the other side, he's like, I'm gonna keep going. And B is like, that's cool, just go half an hour and come back. No, you guys made an agreement.
And not to try to push this documentary again, but the Nat Geo one about the guys who went through the caves, they did talk about the personalities and why they love doing stuff like that and being in an enclosed space, and it was really eye-opening. So I'm going to push you guys to watch that because it was super interesting. I find it completely terrifying and it makes me want to die, but they were like, this is the only place I feel happy.
Wow.
They hate everything about the world. The only place that they're happy is like underwater in these tiny caves where they have to like let out their breaths to go through.
Nope.
It's a nightmare.
We got to get them in therapy. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they didn't get hugged. Like they're just looking for hugs.
Yeah, they're looking. They need the birth canal,
Ooh.
But because of the fact that they adapted this way and that was their outlet, they were able to save 20 boys.
Mm-hmm.
Well, good for the
spoiler.
And Elon Musk didn't help at all.
Piece of shit. Sorry.
He just called them pedophiles, right?
He called the main diver a pedophile.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to help.
Yeah, because he wouldn't use his robot drones that weren't going to be practical for the situation.
I was thinking about drones in this story, though. I was like, man, it would be nice. Like, send a little.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Like a little, like RC car with a GoPro in through here.
Yeah.
Like, let's not be squeezing until we know what's on the other side.
Yep.
That it is better than fishing around with a sledgehammer with your free arm, which some of this feels like it defies individual body strength potential to be both small enough to go through that hole and someone who's like, you're lifting a 5-pound sledgehammer with your free arm in a tiny space and using it to do fine motor functions, to move rocks around. Like, I don't know, but that's fine. Not everything.
Maybe because it was so long, like you can do tiny movements on this end and it's going to do bigger movements at the other end.
I guess it depends too if he's holding the heavy end. Totally different ball game. I'm imagining holding the handle end, which makes it a difficult proposition. But if you've got 5 pounds in your mitt and you're just wagging that stick around, you're great.
And maybe he found a fulcrum.
Yeah. Simple machines.
Simple machines.
Why are you going to complicate your machines, people? Keep it simple.
All right, listeners, if you're a caver, please write in about the viability of this.
Ooh, there are like rock climbers are super small and they keep their body weight down so they can carry their bodies, but they're also incredibly strong.
That's true. That's a great
because
point.
they have to hold their bodies. So I wonder if it's something like that where they're just, because he's a caver, he's super small because he wants to be able to fit into the small places, but he's very strong because he like works.
Yeah,
arms out. I don't
if you're
know.
Listening to this, right in.
Yeah,
Alex Arnold. Are you
that's him.
saying the specific person? Okay.
A bunch of like ant people who are both light and also can lift 10 times their own weight.
That's it. Ted's an ant. We figured it out.
Well, he's an uncle technically, but he says at the end of the story,
folks.
So then he comes back. He leaves the cave. But when he's leaving, they notice that the breeze is gone again. And he also hears that rock on rock.
So scary. So scary. No, thank you. Can you imagine? You think that you're opening up a cave with nothing on the other side and you hear rock moving?
Yeah.
No, I'm out of there. No.
Yeah, no, nothing. Look, this has the same horror problem that a lot of horror has, which is things happen that should clue someone into the fact that this is not a good idea.
But he does have a line in his journal that I think sums it all up. He says, I now think it can be summed up with one word: testosterone.
That's right.
And I was like, yeah, boys are dumb.
We are, yeah. I mean, I'm disappointed, honestly, that he didn't also call out just like the basics of white supremacist patriarchal behavior. Because it's not just testosterone, people. To blame biology is to take away our agency.
They are colonizing. They are colonizers. You know what? This is just like the movie Alien, where you think you're rooting for the white crew, but then you're like, no, you know what? They came in to aliens, Miss Alien's domain, while she's just trying to have babies.
That's true.
She's just brooding.
She's just brooding out there. You've got all of space to explore and you got to land in her nest. No, you're rude.
I was gonna say, recently I did go on a really long hike up a mountain, which I went with my brother and my partner, and we got to a point and there was snow and we didn't have snowshoes and we just had hiking poles and it was not going well. And at some point I was doing kind of okay. And then one of the guys was coming down the mountain and he was like, do you guys have snow spikes? And we were like, no. And he was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I don't know. And then immediately when he said that, my legs stopped working and I was like, I can't keep going. I'm going to die. This is the end of me. And like, there was snow over it and then it just dropped off. So like if we slipped, we just fell down a mountain. So I was like, yeah, we have to go back. We must go back. Going back is important. And then both Ryan and my brother looked at me and they were like, but the top. And I was like, we don't know how far it is. Please don't kill me. We turned around. Thank God. But they both had like summit fever. So just like reading the story, and I was like, oh my God, they have that fever. And it's so bad. And it's so gross. We ended up completing the hike recently without my brother. And there was no way in hell we would have made it to the top had we kept going. I would have fallen down a mountain. So good news, you guys. Turn around. Turn around. Turn around when you hear the rock on rock. Turn around when you hear the rock on rock.
Yeah, it's okay to trust your gut with things. If something's fishy, you don't have to override that and be like, no, I'm being stupid. Guess what? Thousands of years of evolution are making your gut do that thing.
We have instincts and we have the collective unconscious. Listen to it.
Yeah. Pay attention. Also, like if a guy literally walks out and is like, what are you guys doing? You can listen to that guy.
Yeah, he was like, turn around. And I was like,
Ted and B leave. They're excited. They broke through. They're successful. And then they spend the next couple of weeks like just thinking about getting back in the cave.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they recruit their friend Joe, who Joe is like Ted, but smaller, faster, stronger.
Yep.
And so they're gonna both go, both Joe and Ted. And then Ted sort of, let's just say, contrivedly injures himself and can't go into the cave.
Yeah, he whacks his head real good.
Yeah, he gets a bump on the nog, and he's got a little bloody scar. And he's like, no, I can't go in there. I can't go in. I don't feel good.
Oh, now you listen to your instincts.
Yeah. He's listening? Like, I don't feel good enough to go into the evil cave right now. So maybe you should just go, friend who's been introduced this act.
And to be clear, they have not told Joe about any of the spooky shit. Yeah, they were like, come explore our cave. That howls and rumbles, and we heard a weird scream, and sometimes it sounds like rocks are moving on the other side. Go explore.
But also, what part of that is them being like, I don't want he to think I'm crazy. I don't want him to think I'm crazy.
It's testosterone again, because you don't want to. I don't want to look like a beta in front of my buddy Joe.
Good point. Because Joe, better, faster, stronger, and
more like
Ted,
Cuck
little baby
the caver.
So Joe goes into the cave. And I mean, and here we go. We're in fast motion now because Joe just hauls fucking ass. Mm-hmm. And apparently Joe's all the way into that chamber with the round rock and the hieroglyph on the wall. And then suddenly Joe's on his way back. He's scurrying on back.
Yeah.
And they see Joe slide, like come popping out of that hole, and Joe is ghostly white and scratched all the fuck, and he does not want to talk about it.
Yard stare.
He's real alpha male. He's not talking about his feelings.
No.
He needs to go blog about it.
And they tried to talk to him. They're like, "Hey, what's going on?" He's like, "I don't want to. We're leaving." He doesn't say he didn't even say we're leaving. As far as the text is concerned, he just climbs on out. And so they climb out, and then they get in the truck together, and then they tell him all the stuff that they saw before and heard before, as if that's going to make it better. Oh, hey, buddy, did you run into any of these 9 things that were weird before?
Like, you can't tell him now. You've made your bed. Now we're not telling him.
Are you traumatized because of the stuff we withheld? Is that a male thing that happens in relationships too?
And Joe is answering monosyllabically. He's saying no to everything. Did you hear us screaming? No. Did you see the stalactite? No. Did you hear the wind? No. Do you want to tell us what happened? No.
What's your name? No, Joe.
Oh. You
almost got you.
Yeah, so they just drop him off, and then he stops answering phone calls, and nobody's seen him, and he hasn't been going to work for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then he maybe gets fired?
They put him on medical leave.
Oh, that's right. They put him on. Yeah. So apparently stuff's like more progressive at the time of the story writing. There's medical leave.
He probably works for a union. He probably has a union.
Oh,
there you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good for him. Good for
Cavers Union, Local 112.
spelunkologist.
This is their hobby. They probably work at a warehouse, right? Did they talk about what they do for jobs?
Yeah, no, they don't.
No,
they never specify anything.
They probably
about
work for DeWalt.
Oh, yeah.
That explains it. That explains it.
Low key, just angling for a promotion. When people see my Caver blog, I'm going to move up in the sales team.
I'm going to do 6 pages on using DeWalt tools. I'm going to get that promotion. I'm going to get that raise. I'm going to get that bonus.
After like the 5th page, was he like, people aren't reading this. There was a scream.
Let's
we gotta up the ante a little bit here. Joe's fucked. They destroyed Joe's life with their with their withholding. Like they literally they white lied their way to a man who's destroyed. And but they're still they still got to get in there.
Yeah.
They're hooked on a cave feeling and they want to get inside. So they go back. So he and B, they go back again. And this time Ted's going in. He's going in there, but they brought a fancy caver phone that they got loaned from the spelunkologist's local 112.
Yeah.
I do have a question about that. Do walkie-talkies not work in caves?
Probably not, because
walkie-talkies still exist, right? At that time. Yeah.
But you've got dense rock wall, right? So it's because walkie-talkies work with a radio signal.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Okay. 2 tin cans and a string.
That's what I thought. Whenever you described it, I was tin cans and a string.
And that is effectively what it is. So they just have hundreds of meters, I guess, of phone line.
Yeah.
And he's going to pull this receiver end all the way into the cave. And he goes about, and we get the same sort of arduous crawl. He's doing the thing. He's excited to go in. Ted gets on through, and he realizes pretty much right away, oh shoot, my batteries and my flashlight aren't that great.
Oh, I thought he bopped his head.
Oh, that's right. He did. He bopped his head again. He's a real head bopper.
And his flashlight was on his head, so he ended up crushing his flashlight and then hurting his back.
Yeah.
Oh,
everything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because that was the other thing, is that everything was going wrong as they were coming in. Right? They kept stumbling and dropping things, but they kept going anyway.
No, listen to that. That is a sign. That is an omen.
They said every time they tried to put in a line to rappel down, or try to put in, what's it called? The thing that you put into the wall.
I don't know. Let me go back to the
a piton
blog
post.
Is that what it is? But he was
Keegan.
every time we put it in, we had to do it 3 or 4 times before it would catch. And I was like, that's pretty bad.
You guys got to get out of there. You've done this 1,000 times and it's only gotten easier. And this time it's hard. No, that is the universe telling you, get the fuck out.
But testosterone, Kelly.
Oh God, shut up with your testosterone.
So they go. So he's going in. All sorts of stuff's going wrong. He's bopping his head. He's carrying a video camera as well, because he's gonna videotape this thing. Because all of his photos previously of all those things we described in the chamber mysteriously did not come out.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
and the film
negative was blank.
Yeah, blank negative. So it's unphotographable. An entire room is a vampire that you cannot see on film.
The world is a vampire.
Yeah.
Billy? Oh my God. B? Do you think it was him?
Come to think of it, I think
it was.
The one photo of B looked a lot like him with a mustache.
This experience informed the song "The World is a Vampire." Oh my God.
Because literally they're inside the world and it's trying to suck the life out of them. I mean, it's a little more on the nose than I thought, but I like it.
I like it.
He's in the room. He's in the chamber again. And he's just kind of hit with this really bad feeling, immediately. He's really doesn't feel good or safe about this. And we're getting frantic in the way the journal is written, which I think is an interesting and also questionable sort of choice. I think he covers for it later by saying that it was a therapeutic action to write about it. But it's that's a really nice way to cheat, completely altering the narrative style for the benefit of the pace changing to make it spookier.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
I'm getting in the weeds about construction. But I'm to writing as Ted is to caving. I'm going to bore you about all of the details. The hieroglyph on the wall appears to be glowing, and he's hearing that rock on rock situation again.
Yeah, the rock on rock is what like starts all of this, right? He hears it behind him, and then he tries to spin around to catch it, and that's when he bops his head.
Yeah.
Falls to his knees because he's so nervous, and he like tries to break out his glow sticks, and in one of the like many ways that this specific spelunking adventure has been cursed, like one of his glow sticks is broken, and he left his spare headlamp with B. Idiot, bring your fucking headlamp. Yeah, sorry, go. Yeah, so it's like it's glowing.
The round rock has moved, and now the round rock is on top of the cord to the phone that is his only connection to B, and he can no longer communicate with B. And that's also like, hey, wait, that's not right. Rocks don't do that on their own. Something's in here.
And that was so spooky. Like, part of why I wanted to call out the rock moving is what like started this, is because up until this point, every time we've heard the rock moving, it's been like on the other side of the wall. On the other side of the wall, we hear the rock moving. And this time he's in there and he hears it behind him. So like now whatever is happening is behind him, between him and B. So scary.
And he's already established that in the dark, something will have to touch you before you notice that it's there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there is something behind him that presumably can just rumble on up, but nothing grabs him. He kind of spins around frantically. He's hurting himself. He's aching. He's freaking out. He's cracking glow sticks. And one of the glow sticks he throws goes down a corridor that was behind the round rock. Yeah. And it appears to be like not like a naturally carved thing, but a carefully manicured tunnel of sorts, a passageway that something probably lives in and moves through. And at this point, he loses his fucking shit, and he turns around and he scampers out of there as fast as he possibly can. He realizes halfway through Floyd's tomb that he has left the camera in that room.
That's fine.
So the camera's gone.
Leave it.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, what are you going to do? Camera's gone. And so he is just crawling through, and we're getting gory detail. You know, he is just letting this cave literally devour him as he goes out, just letting it claw flesh off of him. He is all scratched up, but he describes that like the scratch marks on him aren't cuts that bleed. They just sort of ooze blood slowly. So he's in like a kind of lasting, excruciating pain that's also really like, I mean, that's like a showy kind of ow, you know? Yeah. And then he just goes, he's head first in, and he comes head first plopping out of that hole in front of B.
So not even in front of B. So while he was in the squeeze, he was like, B, it's coming. Like, you have to get out. So he like tells B to run, and B is like, don't gotta tell me twice. So he's out of there. So he plops down alone and has to like catch up to B, who's like halfway up the wall they have to scale to get back out.
So he's climbing after B, but he starts to climb up the rope, and then something's pulling on the rope. Something's pulling the rope back into the cave.
So scary.
And so he's like, okay, I got to just free climb up this wall because I'm not going with this rope. This is terrifying.
Alex Honnold, right in.
So he free solos the rest of this cave.
So they get out of the cave, and there's like multiple layers of climb that they have to do to get out. And at each point, the rope is being pulled. But when they get out, the rope is like secured to a tree, like 20 yards away, I think he said. And they go over there, and they're finally they are able to cut the rope. And it is so frantic. Tense. Like B is like, sawing at the rope, and Ted is like, it probably only took 3 or 4 seconds, but like, you know, it's right behind you. Like, the rope is pulled so tight at this point. You're like, it's got to be right there. And
I think he
pull
said,
it,
like,
and the rope like whips past, and then B like falls over stunned. And that was like, did he see it? Like, did B see something?
I like the part where it's like, time is a funny thing. It felt like forever, but it probably only took a few seconds. And I was like, oh. Ooh.
Yeah.
And then they said when the rope pulled, it made a noise, like because it was going so fast, it made a vibration sound. And
which means whatever was on it was like heavy, right? Because
Yeah.
a rope, it must have been under so much tension to make that like hum.
Yep.
Ooh, what was it?
Yeah, so creepy.
They go home and they're having a bad time. They're having a Joe-like bad time.
Yep, they Joe it. They Joe it.
And Ted's like, hey, look, I can't work. I can't eat. I can't do anything. I don't want to go out at night, during the day, all the time in his house. He's seeing these weird shadows. He buys a gun, and he specifically says that he buys the gun from an ad in the newspaper to avoid having to wait on a permit.
Yeah.
Which I was like, oh, hey, cool, loopholes. Great.
Yeah,
as long as they're still around. But it's clear that like he's in total decline.
He's like, he says he's losing weight because he can't eat. And he's like, he started to hear things like shuffles and doors in his house. And then he started to see things, but like just out of the corner of his eye, like, did I see it? Did I not? And how sleep deprived have y'all been? Have you experienced the sleep up hallucinations?
Not really.
They're like this. I've never had full on hallucinations, but I've had this that he's describing where you're like, oh, what's that? Oh, it's nothing. Oh, what's that? Oh, it's not anything. I swear I saw something, but it's nothing. It's nothing. Like, and it's so hard. Like, you're already so sleep deprived, and then on top of that, you're like being scared all the time,
which keeps you from sleeping more.
Yeah. Yeah, it's stressful.
I feel like I've had like auditory hallucinations when I don't sleep.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'll hear someone calling my name pretty often. I'll be like, no, okay, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
So yeah, I try to get sleep is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Here we go. The final entry in Ted's caving page is Ted explaining this horrible experience and then saying that he has to go back. They have to go back in the cave. They have to figure out what it is.
He just freaks out and then he goes and Joe is just sitting there and he's like, we must go.
And not even at the cave. Like Ted is compelled to drive to like the overlook above town to where you would, I assume it's Makeout Point.
Absolutely. Yeah.
He is compelled to drive to Makeout Point. And when he gets there, Joe is already there looking out over the city. And they have like the tersest conversation ever recorded, which is, we have to go back. Right. Tomorrow at noon. See you then. Like, all right. We're doing it. That's bonkers. That's fun. Yeah. That's a fun.
I thought that was the scariest part to me when they both just were like, we have to. And I was like, no. That means you don't. That means the opposite.
Yeah.
If both of you are being pulled there, it's not good. It's not good.
Or they got thrall on them from the cave, from the cave beast. Whatever the thing in the cave was.
Heavy. Oh, I meant that literally, like gravity wise, but
yeah.
Also heavy.
Emotionally.
You know what I mean? Heavy.
Yeah, like what Marty McFly always says.
Yeah.
And then Doc's like, what are you talking about, Marty?
Something wrong with the Earth's gravitational field and the future.
Zing. So then they go and they go to B's house. And B looks pretty okay, actually. But then he suddenly is like not happy. He's real droopy when he sees Ted. And he's like, okay, let's go. We're gonna go in. B agrees to go.
And Ted realizes that B has been keeping keeping his lights on at night, same as Ted has been, and presumably same as Joe has been. True. And like B didn't even go into the deep part.
It's true.
Poor B.
So then it's suicide note like in its composition.
Like a suicide note. It reads like a suicide note. He's like, sis, take care of those nieces for me. Like, whoa.
In case anything happens.
He's like, I gotta go do this. Thanks for everybody who's reached out to me and who cares about me. I'm sorry that I haven't been able to get back to you, but we got to go into this cave. You're going to think that I'm stupid for this. I know people have already told me not to do it. He talks about this subconscious desire to conquer our own little Everest. And he says, as B is fond of saying, caving is the last opportunity for exploration. for the person with modest means.
I thought that was I was like, man, yeah, broke people probably, that's all we get.
I don't know, man. Read a book.
just watched a YouTube video of someone taking a cruise to like the North Pole, and I had never been angrier.
Family and friends, be at peace. I will conquer this cave. Then I will return and update this website immediately. I'll include photos we take in the cave today. And if you stop by the house, I will show you the video I will have. I expect to be home later tonight or tomorrow at the latest. See all of you soon with lots of answers. Love, Ted. And then we have a big, beautiful next button to go to the next blog.
I loved this. I loved this.
Great.
And you click on it and it doesn't go forward.
It redirects you to the same page.
Keep going to this same note saying goodbye, which tells you everything you need to know. It is a beautiful ending to a piece of horror fiction.
Oh, good.
That just leaves it like, oh, cool, they're all dead. Like, or at least
good.
Ted's dead. Maybe B made it out, but nobody's updating Ted's website, so we'll never know what happened.
I was like, yeah, maybe they're dead. But then I also was like, or maybe they found like something totally cool and they're like living in an alternate dimension now.
They could be the people in the hieroglyph praising whatever lives in the cave. Like maybe they have become worshippers of that deity.
Yeah, maybe it's them.
Not to throw it back to Nat Geo, I'm not going to go back to the documentary, but there was like a photographer who went out to photograph like a cannibalistic, like they said it was a tribe that was a tribe of cannibals. And then like they were like, this is the last photo of him ever taken. And it was him with the tribe. And everyone just assumed he was eaten. But I think years down the line, somebody was photographing them from far away and he was rowing one of the boats.
Oh, nice.
And he became part of the tribe. Because he was like, fuck it. I don't want to do this society thing anymore. Like they figured out life in a better way. And I'm going to do this. But I was like, oh, that's nice that it's like, I don't know. Maybe they gave in. Maybe it was totally worth it.
I don't know. Yeah. Your story has me second guessing my optimism because you just told me a story of a man who voluntarily became a cannibal.
Well, okay. So I don't know, propaganda, bro. I'm assuming they're not really
that bad. This was
well, no, I'm assuming like whenever they talk about cannibalism, it's like not a common thing and it's done in ritual and specific instances for certain things. I'm not being like cannibalism is cool, guys. What I'm saying is there's a chance that they might not even be cannibals and we're just terrible people.
No, it's a funny bit.
Yeah.
Just like the funny bone, which I assume they ate. 21 years ago this came out.
21 years ago.
That's crazy.
And it still holds up.
Awesome. Yeah, so good.
It's not like the most elegant writing you've ever read, but it does exactly what it needs to do. I think this is very thoughtfully put together. Like someone has a flair for theater in the way that they put the pages together, the photos that they chose to take and include, and especially like the one hole I have is that the whole caveat at the front sort of feels weird to me. Like the caveat at the front feels a little too intentional to set up the fact that something creepy is going to happen.
Oh, okay.
But so, funny.
So they kept it chill.
Think about that because I was like, yeah, I'm reading Creepypasta. Let's get creepy.
Yeah. I mean,
but this predates Creepypasta. Yeah. So I wonder, like, if when people read it, if they were captivated or if they were like, oh, that's corny. Like, where I like to think that people were not so jaded. Like these people who started reading it in 2004. I would love to get their input. Like, did that pull them out of it? I wonder.
I mean, I doubt it because I didn't even think about it until, much later today, even as I was kind of reprocessing everything. Because I listened to a little bit of the podcast version of it that you recommended, Kelly, also. So I got like that you shared. It's not great. And I listened to it at 1.25 speed or 1.5 speed because it was very slow.
It was so slow. Yeah. I listened at 1.25. I do want to hear your thoughts on comparing, contrasting, because I didn't read any. purely because I did not have time. Like
Yeah.
I would have loved to have read this and just didn't have time. So I thankfully found the audio so I could like zip through it. But that did mean that I like wasn't getting the images in line. Like I listened to it and then had to come back and I think especially the like diagram of the birth canal part of it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Was like very helpful to see. So what was your experience with, like, compare contrast the two for me?
Reading it's way better. I mean, I think that one, because of the format that it's in and the nature of it, it's designed to be a website about this thing. So to read it aloud, and especially that podcast applies mood music and Foley,
I did not love that.
And there's like the person reading it is sort of acting a little bit when they do it, which takes away from the way a journal isn't written in like, oh my God, I'm scared. A journal is written in like, I hit my head. And, you know, I think there's something that's scarier about the fact that this is delivered as matter of fact historical account. That's the whole reason it's scary, is that the idea here is nobody's lying to me. And this isn't even drama. This isn't even fiction. I'm just trying to understand why, like, what a person went through. And just to get back to my point before, like, the reason why the beginning doesn't work for me is because after reading the ending, where it's a very clear, like, everybody I love who reads this kind of smallish audience of people, but we have this page at the beginning that implies somehow that he anticipates it being available to a wider audience of people. And so it's like, I'm going to protect all these people and I'm not going to tell you where this is. And it's sort of like, well, that you wouldn't do that. Like, especially if you're like, I have a hard time believing that post monster incident Ted has the wherewithal to be both so depressed that he can't eat, but to also be like, you know, I probably really need to put up like a disclaimer on my website about this cave because I don't want anybody to accidentally go in here. Like, that feels false to me.
Yeah.
And but that's like the only flaw with the whole thing.
Yeah. I loved this. And like, maybe I should get further into reading horror, because watching movies, I don't get scared. Like I like watching horror movies. You know, we've got that whole horror movie podcast. I like
I was like, it's bad if you don't.
Yeah, it's over.
I hate it.
Chelsea, this is Chelsea. Look, we started Debut Buddies as an intervention to let you know. Never show the monsters over.
The horror movies are not good, and we're done here.
No, I still love it, but I don't get scared. I don't like get elevated heart rate. I don't like, I'm not like nervous. And maybe I'm watching them wrong. Maybe I need to like leave my phone in the other room and turn off all the lights and like wear headphones or something and like really immerse myself. But I don't know, listening to this, even with the sound design that I didn't love, I didn't mind the voice acting so much. But it was I did not care for the Foley. But even, I don't know, I like got scared. I had physiological reactions to this, which never happens for me watching movies. So like, I don't know. I think that I've written off, there are a lot of horror podcasts that I have just written off as like, I don't think I'd like that. But listening to this has me second guessing that maybe I should do that more. Maybe I should find more written horror. Like, maybe, you know what? I'm in my creepypasta era, y'all. Like,
there is a creepypasta podcast that is called Creepypasta itself.
Oh,
I've never listened to it, so I'm not.
I wonder if it was this one. This was called Creepy, but every episode is them reading a creepypasta.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Good
I was
plug.
gonna say, I did hear a really good spooked podcast on my drive back from a hike yesterday. It was like the second one, and it was on an island near me.
Oh.
But it was about a woman who drove a semi truck, and she told her story, and I really did.
And spooked is fun because those are true stories.
Yes. And there's like also Radio Rental. I listen to that too. I'm just going to throw out a bunch of scary stories. Podcasts.
Go listen to those
shows. Scary stories. Stop listening to us. Just kidding. Please only listen to us.
You know what? Go.
But it's October.
A 4, but give us a 5.
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah. That's right.
But it's October, so I'm always gonna be pro any scary story. I did want to talk about different formats. Did you guys watch the movie?
No, did you?
Of Ted the Caver?
I did.
Yeah, there's a Ted the Caver.
I did. Do you want to know where it was shot?
In the cave from the Empty Man.
Where? Arkansas. Do you want to know where in Arkansas?
Devil's Den?
No, very close though. Nob Hill, where parts of it are. I don't know where all of it is, but part of it might be in Devil's Den. I think it's on somebody's property, but it was shot right next to where Kelly and I existed for where we became friends and existed.
Have we been there? Is that where
I probably
broke both his legs free soloing?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. But I didn't watch it all the way through. I did watch it's for free on Tubi if you guys want to check it out. At first I was like, this movie is terrible because the last scene, I just want to watch the scene where Ted goes to the cave and shit starts to go down. And it did not go well. And they had weird music playing in the background and it seemed like a music video and he threw up in the tiny little squishy hole where he's trying to get out. And I was like, don't throw up while you're squishing out.
Oh no.
It was very uncomfortable. And I was like, oh, this is so bad. There was a scene where he was like having weird flashes of someone attacking him. And I thought those were well done. Oh. So I don't know if I would say watch the movie because I watched it in pieces. But at the end, I was like, as I was scrolling through, he was wearing like an Arkansas baseball shirt. And I was like, bullshit. And then I had to go through pieces. No, it just said Arkansas baseball and it had a Razorback. So it was college baseball.
Okay.
Anywho. And then I went through scene by scene that was in the city and I was like, that house is familiar, which it was very weird. And I went street by street trying to find the house because I was like, I've seen the outside of that house before. I've driven by the outside of that house. They have a gas station and it has a sign that says Nob Hill gas station, which is right outside or right near the area that I dispatched for. So I would have known the area in which they had shot the movie. And it came out in 2013 when I was dispatching. So I was like, super weird. That was the connection that I had. How fucking weird is it that movie was shot in our backyard?
You know, I did see that the movie was premiered at festivals, one of which was in Little Rock. Mm-hmm. And I was like, the fuck?
Why? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's why. Super weird. Yeah.
Is it's a feature-length movie?
Yes.
Yeah. It's a cool thing.
It's not, once again, for free on Tubi.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of trying to put together how you would stretch this into an hour and a half long.
Oh, okay. Film. So what happens is
60 minutes.
They're Brad and Ted are brought together because of their father's death because he went spelunking in a cave.
Wait, so they're brothers?
Yes. And then they both go to the cave to
where he died.
Yes, to try to figure out what happened because they wanted to reconnect because they were estranged. Man, I guess I watched more of this movie than I expected.
No,
they were estranged because I think Brad ended up marrying Ted's girlfriend. What a bastard. Am I right? But then they were like, we got to work this out, man. Let's work it out in the cave. And then at some point, Ted and Brad get into a fight. Ted goes through the hole. Ted vomits on the way back out from the hole. Mm-hmm. And then when they get home, they're at a bus stop for some reason. I didn't catch the scenes in between it. But a family gets murdered somehow that has to do with the cave.
They let loose a serial killer.
Yeah, an entire family died. And they were like, we have to go back and we have to stop it. And then the last part, there was like a lot of red flashing and kind of a waterfall. And then I stopped watching the movie before the final part to conclude it. Oh, that's bad.
Okay.
Well, I mean, hey, we didn't spoil anything. So
yeah. So do they save everyone? Do they not? I don't know. Let's go watch it. Maybe. Okay, I don't know if we should.
Watch it.
That's wild.
So you can consume this in 3 different formats. You can consume it in podcast form. You can consume it in Angel Fire form.
Yep.
Or you can consume it in 2B form.
And then whichever one you choose, you have to also consume it in this podcast form.
Yeah, mostly this one. 100% this one.
Where your after show.
I'm hoping this is the end and you have already consumed it in some form.
You belong to us now. This is the cave that you've fallen into, from which you will never return.
Monster.
You guys want to do the mouth guard report?
Yeah.
The mouth guard report. Open wide.
I don't have anything to report. My teeth are the same.
Mine's still not good.
No.
Mine's not good. I'm not in a good place. I have 2 sets of retainers, one of which is a mouth guard, and the mouth guard isn't tight enough, so it's not like straightening my teeth back up after my like California fiasco where I just didn't wear them for 10 days. So I've been trying to wear the last trays of my retainer from actually straightening them, and I have chewed them to smithereens.
Can you layer?
Like
oh no.
Oh, can I layer? Huh. Now there's a thought. Okay. I will update you in 2 weeks about my layer situation.
I'm excited.
I love it. I don't have anything either. That was the Mouth Guard Report.
The Mouth Guard Report. Open wide.
Yay.
And now it's time to play your favorite game. And mine. But mostly mine.
Okay.
Let's play I See What You Did There. For I See What You Did There, this week I have combinations of creepy things and pasta things.
No.
Okay.
No, shit. I used up all my creepy pastas at the beginning when I said spooky spaghetti. Okay. All right. Okay.
Kelly, you're gonna go first.
Okay.
Number 1, mice, rats, and roaches found their way into a batch of thin noodles popular in Italian and Southeast Asian dishes.
Mice, rats, and roaches. Oh no, Chelsea has it.
Chelsea's making a very happy face.
Oh no.
It feels like
I might have to make a gif of that. Because it seemed like Chelsea like emerged from her desk just like
she was like a little ray of sunshine. Yeah. You know how sometimes people will describe people as beaming, and you're like, I guess I know what that means. I now know what it means.
You're welcome.
I'm like rodent lasagna. Rodentini.
Rodentini is a pretty good guess. It's pretty good guess. It's not what I'm going for. It's not what I'm going for.
Well, then I would say that your question was wrongly asked.
That's good. This is a very contemporary defense.
I'm just gonna get combative during I See What You Did There. Okay. Gross Aroni. Nope, that's it. That's all I've got. I can't even think of another pasta shape. Yuck Guini.
Yuck Guini.
I like all of these.
Throw it over to Chelsea.
Great.
Chelsea, what have you got?
So I don't know. Is it vermicelli? A varmint chili?
Well, I was going with vermin, like vermicelli. Okay, yeah. So vermicelli is the really thin spaghetti noodles, and vermin. So vermicelli. You see what I did there?
Yeah, I do. I'm gonna go with varmint though, because we are from Arkansas, as previously established.
Yeah, but look, varmint works. I'll take varmint.
Oh.
Chelsea gets the point.
Equally good. Mine were
yours were
good,
great.
and I did 3 of them. So like,
it's not about quality so much as the answer.
That's fine. I'm gonna be the listener's favorite, and that's where it really matters to me.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
When the votes come in, when we post the 800 number at the end of the podcast, and people vote for the best host of the show.
Yeah, one of us is going to get voted off.
Mm-hmm. It's true. Okay, Chelsea, number 2.
All right.
You'd wear this accessory to stab someone after finding out their favorite scary movie, but it's covered with orange dairy flavored powder because someone didn't read the crafting directions on the box.
Oh, is this a dumb one? Do I have it?
You might.
I mean, I don't know, but I love your enthusiasm. This is what I'm doing here.
I have something.
All right, we gotta. Chelsea's got.
I think that
Bum, bum, bum.
I think that Kelly might have it because mine's knife cheese, which sounds
No, that's
wrong.
great. No,
Knife
that was
cheese.
it.
It's wrong.
I
Hookaroni,
like that
that
as a
sounds
show
wrong
of its
too.
own.
It's definitely something with craft. Hook craft, no. Knife craft, no. I've got nothing. Kelly, you got it.
Kelly, what do you
Take
got?
it away.
Is it mascaroni? Or
Yeah.
alternately ghost mascaroni?
Ghost face mascaroni. Yeah.
Ghost face mascaroni. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I saw the stab that you did. I saw what you did there with stab.
Yeah,
Yeah, you did.
I didn't.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't always see what you did there, like at the top.
Yeah, but we
did
see
with
it
this
now.
one.
We see it now. We talked about my love of macaroni and cheese earlier today.
We did.
So
it's really disappointing that you didn't get
that's
this one.
fucking sad, man.
You probably need to eat more of it.
Deal.
To get...
I'm not gonna lie to you. My bathroom has boxes of macaroni in it. Second bathroom. We don't use the second bathroom.
It's your pantry. You're treating it like a pantry.
Yeah,
It's your 70s style powder room where you just go in and snort a bunch of
just a bunch of craft powder.
bunch of powder. Yeah, okay. I got some great ideas. Let's paint the kitchen.
Hey, you know what? I just want you to be safe. Make sure that you're using fentanyl strips to test that.
Okay.
The strip turned
If I must.
orange. What does that mean?
Can I see the gauge again?
Okay, number 3, Kelly.
Yeah.
The director of Night of the Living Dead and its twisty social commentary embraces a pasta often found in salads that's anything but boring.
You said boring like it's a real clue. Is that part of the pun?
Yeah, it absolutely is.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
Okay.
I mean, it is. Look, what is boring?
So we're talking like boring into the earth.
Hey,
Okay.
you see what I did there.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So you need that director of Night of the Living Dead. Who directed Night of the Living Dead, Kelly?
That is a great question that I respect.
Great. Hey, this show number 1 is about respect.
It's got to be one of the big dogs. Is it? It's not Wes Craven.
It's not Wes Craven.
It's not Vincent Price.
It's not Vincent Price.
It's not in my brain. I know that when one of you says it, I'm going to be like, "That's right." I don't know.
This person also collaborated on Creep Show. Does that lead you anywhere? Creep Show? Day of the Dead?
Chelsea, what do you have? Chelsea, you got anything?
Do you know
over
the
there?
pasta? Please tell me the pasta. For fuck's sake, tell me the pasta.
I don't really know the pasta.
It's a pasta that's commonly found in salads.
I know you keep saying that, but there are so many
it's
that
the
are
spiral
found
guy. Is that a rotini?
Can I say it?
Yeah, do it.
But then we get 0.5 because she gave me rotini.
I love
Yeah,
this. We're
I'm gonna give
haggling.
you each a
We're
point.
haggling with Nate.
Romero Rotini.
Yeah, George A. Romero-Tini.
Oh,
George
okay.
A. Romero directed Night of the Living Dead.
Okay. Yeah, he did. That's right.
And rotini is a pasta that's anything but boring.
Okay.
Well, I
All
thought it was
right.
bow tie. Every time I look at pictures, it's like bow tie and pasta salad.
Oh, I don't
No,
put
but I get the
farfalle in that.
Yeah, I don't make pasta salad, so that's my bad.
It's number 4, Chelsea. A 2019 internet hoax, supposedly involving this creepy bird-like woman tricking kids into self-harm and suicide,
Yeah.
is now playing a pool set blind tag game based on a pasta explorer.
I was so excited at the top because I was like, I know the meme.
I feel like I know the second one,
Great.
but you know the meme?
Yeah, are we about to collab again?
Okay.
You can collab.
Okay.
Pool set blind tag game. That's what
Yeah.
you said?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I have the second part. Do you what
Based
is
on a
the first
pasta
part?
explorer.
Oh,
A pasta explorer.
Mhm.
I don't know what any of these words mean.
Okay, what is the first one?
It's Momo, right? Momo.
Yeah, Momo is correct.
Momo, that weird.
The bird-faced lady.
Is it going to be Momo?
Yeah.
Oh, I know Momo. Yeah. Is it Momo Polo?
It is Momo Polo. Momo.
So
Polo.
0.5. We tied.
Yeah.
Polo's a pasta?
Well, Marco
Polo.
Polo. Marco
Momo
Polo
Polo.
is an explorer who famously discovered pasta by going to China.
Oh,
and that's why
pasta.
the Italians have pasta.
Missing.
Yeah,
okay.
pasta explorer.
Okay. Gotcha.
So if I say
see what you
Momo,
did
you
there.
say Polo, and then
Yeah.
eventually you murder me, I guess.
That sounds right.
No, we
Yeah.
coax you into killing yourself.
Great.
Momo.
Polo.
Oh no. You see what I did there.
Yeah.
We see what you did there.
So, do we have any final thoughts on Ted the Caver?
Y'all go read this one. This was fun. This was so fun. And send me your favorite creepypastas and creepy stuff to read, because I think I'm gonna get really into it. You can send us that on Twitter at Debut Buddies, or just send it to me at Kelly Attaway.
please send it to at Debut Buddies, because I want to see it too.
Debut Buddies,
and
yeah,
because I want to
So
get
Kelly,
back into
get it
reading some of these.
I was gonna say, Kelly, if you get it
spooky.
personally, share it with the group, please.
Yeah.
The final thing I want to say is, whenever we first started talking about doing this one, I thought it said Ted the Carver before I read Caver, because I don't read things correctly sometimes. It's fine. But then I got, that sounds scarier. And if you guys want to collab on creating the story of Ted the Carver, because I feel like that's going to be terrifying.
Yeah, let's do
We
another.
gotta figure it out.
Let's do another. Let's build another like episodic creepypasta.
Yeah. Ted
Next
carved
October,
his friend
we'll
B out of a larger guy named Brad. I'm gonna take your rad off, Brad. I'm Ted the Carver.
Oh, we're off to a great start.
Look, you got to get all the bad ideas out up front, and then
there
the good
are
ones
no
flow.
bad ideas. You got to get them all out.
You got to get them out, but
Yeah, you got to get them out.
Yeah, I mean, I third this. Everybody has to read this. It's cool, and it's cool that it still exists. It is nostalgic as fuck, and it is. I don't know. Like, we've told you a lot of what happens, but the experience of reading it is really valid and interesting.
For sure. Yeah, go read it.
I read the Wikipedia prior to reading the story. So like, I knew what happened, but after reading the story, I was so enthralled, and I had like my blanket and I was like cozied up. I think Nate described it last time as when he was Sebastian in the Neverending Story.
Yeah.
That's what I felt like. I was just like sitting in the dark, reading it with the screen, just like illuminating my face as I'm scrolling through the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys get into
it. I was so compelled. Loved it.
So I have one more thing to talk about, which is Ted in one of the later journal entries mentions that they could possibly have confronted a creature in folklore that could have been in the cave called a hodag, Hodag. And there happens to be an entry on Wikipedia about hodag because they are an American folklore critter that resembles a bull-horned carnivore with a row of thick curved spines down its back. The hodag is said to be born from the ashes of cremated oxen as the incarnation of the accumulated abuse the animals have suffered at the hands of their master.
Whoa.
Jeez.
And this shit appears prominently in early Paul Bunyan stories. So I'm familiar with Paul Bunyan from the perspective of a handsome cartoon woodsman with an adorable giant blue ox, not a man dealing with the animal abuse of the 17 and 1800s. But apparently it's in there. So 1893 newspapers reported the discovery of a hodag in Rhinelander, Wisconsin.
Whoa.
The article claimed that it had the head of a frog, the grinning face of a giant elephant, thick, short legs set off by huge claws, the back of a dinosaur, and a long tail with spears on the end.
That's a description.
It certainly is. Somebody certainly had ideas for parts of things.
Yeah.
Where was that? Where was Barnum and or Bailey at this time?
Right. So the reports were instigated by well-known Wisconsin land surveyor, timber cruiser, and prankster Eugene Shepard, who rounded up a group of local people to capture the animal. The group reported that they needed to use dynamite to kill the beast.
What?
That sounds pretty extreme, but also kind of fun.
And there's a picture of it on. There's a picture of this situation on Wikipedia. So I'm gonna share screen with you all real quick, just so you can see. This is as resolute as this goes, but you can see the hodag in the center.
Wow,
I love
clearly not very big.
That was a lot smaller than I thought it'd be.
I love that we are having so much fun with this picture. This is like, let's do a silly one. Like we did a silly one.
Well, and they're like, they had to kill this with dynamite. Like they're all surrounding it, and it's not doing anything.
Yeah, like that was going to be my question. Is this pre or post the killing with the dynamite? Because it looks like the situation is well in hand. You know,
back in the day, dynamite was a lot gentler than it is now.
Tiny,
you know. And people were tougher. So if you blew up, like, you just got a little soot on you. And you had to move your beak back into place and turn it around. But you were fine.
Oh.
So big hoax around that.
I was gonna say, in the actual cave, I think that they said they found it in Utah. Yeah. The same cave that they actually explored in was like the interstate cave, under an interstate in Utah. That's why they heard the trucks go by.
Or why they attributed the
to the trucks.
To the trucks going.
I was just looking into it, and there's not really any other listings for hodags otherwise. So I was like, okay, so somebody looked up this or had heard of this monster when they wrote this story. So what do you guys think it was?
I want to go 5 Debs. They didn't show the monster.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I also 5 Debs.
I don't know. Maybe I'm being more lenient. Yeah, I was gonna say maybe throughout this podcast I've gotten more. I'm just like, I love everything. Everything's good. Like, because now I'm regretting our first episode where we talked about the podcast, and I was like, maybe that's 5 Debs. I don't know. I don't know what my scale is. I loved reading this. I just loved it, and it's October right now when you're listening to this.
It sure is. It's almost Halloween, people.
So So you're feeling the spook, and it is just. Leaves changed. It smells nice. Feeling the hodag.
Boopy.
Hodag.
Pumpkin spice hodag just sitting in your.
Yeah. I mean, of all the creepypastas I've read.
Oh, this is the best.
Yeah, this is one of the top, I would say. Yeah, for sure.
This is like this is so carefully orchestrated. It really is like it's a quality exercise in how to tell this story in this format.
Yeah.
And to do it in like 2000, 2001, when this would have been like, whoa, amazing. And it's still, whoa, amazing. Because you used website linking in the most effective way possible with the least amount of flourish.
Yeah, it's like, it's so straightforward. It's so obvious looking at it. But like, I never would have thought to do this. This is incredible.
Yeah, I'll make a website and it'll end.
And when it ends, my next button will redirect to the same page. That's
so good.
Oh, chef's kiss.
To give you that sense of dread. Sweet dread. I think the problem with the 5 Deb scale is that we're looking at different things every time. Like if we were comparing, it would be one thing to compare all horror movies the way the two of you do on your show, or to compare all books or all records. But we're comparing like across genres and also firsts of kinds, which is weird because some people stumble out of the gate and some people are just fucking alert, head on a swivel, ready to get hodagged, you know?
Yeah, I rated this one 5 Debs based on vibes. This was a vibe rating for me. Like, I do think that this is some of the best creepypasta. It's definitely like, I don't know. It made me curious if very early creepypasta was more like this, where it was like more carefully crafted storytelling. Because I know creepypasta from like, I don't know, college on, which was still 10 years after this.
Who was phone?
So like, I know dumb creepypasta. And like creepypasta has also gotten like erotic.
What?
And this with the virgin hole, you'd think would be.
Yeah.
It was right there.
But they're totally like, they're just dudes being dudes, having time.
Bros
not getting weird about it.
Yep.
Testosterone.
Yeah, I thought this was great.
Yeah. I think, I mean, we've kind of said it, but I mean, even just the details of including the photos that are included that are so mundane, but also like, hey, I'm actually tracking making this hole bigger. And here are the photos of this hole getting bigger. And here's a picture of the dog looking kind of off put, but nothing like a person with less patience and sort of confidence in what they were trying to do would make this creepier right away and would hit creepy over the head. And this doesn't do that. This sort of just lets you ease into the boredom, ease into the normalcy of it. And then and then honestly, like, what's creepier than not knowing and not getting exactly what you want? I looked at like the wiki for this, and one of the person's question was like, well, I wish I knew what the monster was. And it's like, no, that's not the point.
No,
like,
you never want to know.
You never want to know.
It's better because what if you find out like, oh, it was an Esquilax, a horse with the body of a rabbit, like whatever, like great, cool. It was a giant cave rabbit that ate them.
Big fun.
Or it was the Blair Witch prequel. Like no thanks. So yeah, I would also give this 5 dabs.
Is this our first perfect 5 deb?
Yeah. I think it is 5 across the board for Ted the Caver.
I think that I read that like we can find his last name. Somebody with a last name named Ted came forward and was like, I wrote the story. It's not real, but it was based off of another guy's story that was real. He just added in supernatural elements and took his pictures.
Oh, I read something else.
Oh shit, tell me everything. I'm so excited.
I guess I read something closer to the hoax. No. Okay, so I read that that Ted had done this, had like gone into the cave and like maybe some spooky stuff happened, but not like the last couple entries. And then he wrote this, and then a few years later some gal wrote essentially the same story about the same cave, and everybody was like, oh, Ted stole from her. And he was like, no, look at my website from 2001. So but I didn't read very thoroughly, so that could be wrong.
So Ted, if you're listening, tweet us.
Yeah, Ted, right in. Oh, this was fun. This was a good
this
one.
was great.
So much fun.
This was real good. We'll do something for the next one.
Oh, that's right. We got to.
We always decide on the fly.
It's true.
Wait, what happened to Garfield? I want to do the Garfield.
Oh, yeah.
You want to do the first Garfield?
Yeah, I feel like Garfield feels like November because it's orange, and November is orange.
Great.
You know, I 100%.
Does that not feel right? There's a lot of eating.
No, yeah,
there's
right.
orange, that's November. Eating and orange November. Right. So I like the first Garfield strip. I want to do that. I like that one.
Yeah.
Great.
Is that fair, Nate? Do you feel good about that?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's do it. The first Garfield is right here.
I'm sorry to do it right now.
Listeners, next episode, we're going to be talking about the very first Garfield comic strip. You know Garfield. He hates Mondays, loves lasagna, doesn't really care for Odie. This comic strip is from 1978.
Whoa.
That's so long ago.
Do you know
Can
how
you
many
imagine?
serial killers were active that year?
We can talk about that.
So, buddies, catch us next time for this Garfield episode. Plugs.
This is October. Oh yeah, I was going to tell you guys about a podcast. But Kelly, you plug some stuff first before I.
Oh sure. Okay. That. So Oh God, I just remembered I have a whole bit to do about the cave and my Wheel of Time podcast, but what's done is done. We can't go back. So yeah, you can find me and Chelsea both on our horror movie podcast called Never Show the Monster. So if you liked this, if you liked getting spooky, come join us over there. You can find us on Twitter at No Show Monster if you want to see what we're up to. But in October, every week when we release our episode, we will be covering a Halloween special of a TV show. I think that we are starting with Boy Meets World, and then we're going to do a specific Bob's Burgers episode, and maybe a Rugrats episode, and we're going to do it through your lens of
Angelica's Creepypasta.
No.
So we'll see what happens there. You can find us there. I've got a Wheel of Time podcast that is currently on hiatus, but we will be back soon. That is called 13th Depository, and we are currently reading The Great Hunt, which is the second book of the Wheel of Time. You don't necessarily have to read the books before you join the podcast, but we will spoil stuff for you. So
I sure don't read the books, but I listen.
Thanks, Nate.
Hell yeah. You can also check out the science fiction books that I publish at readspaceboy.com. That's Spaceboy Books. And I have a book out now called One Person Can't Make a Difference. It is a cyberpunk conspiracy noir thriller. And if you're into those words, if those keywords really get your algorithm itching, you should order it. It's on Amazon. It's on Bookshop. It's at Barnes & Noble. It's at all the places.
Yay.
So pick up a copy.
Local bookstore.
Bookstore.
Yeah, mine is, I just want to talk about the Creeping Hour. It is a horror stories for kids since this is still October. If you guys want to hear some horror stories, and there are only 5 episodes that came out in 2019, but it's a fun podcast. And I would go give it a listen. It's very, it's like a group of kids telling horror stories, which is very fun. So I just want to throw that out there.
They call themselves the Creeps.
Yeah, it's super cute. Yeah,
that's like how we're the buddies.
Mm-hmm.
They're the Creeps.
Oh, I love it.
We should do a crossover.
With children, I don't know.
They're not children. It's not children that actually.
Okay,
it's written by it's written by a really good short horror story writer, and
the art is dope.
We did it. That was the first Creepypasta, and we loved it.
We loved it,
and we love you too. If you like this podcast, if you love us, show us that you love us. Our love language is 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen.
And you know what? If you want to leave a review that's just a link to your favorite creepypasta, totally works for me. Do that.
Boom. Yes, do that. That is a
10.
thing you can do for us. We'll be back. We'll be back in a fortnight. To discuss the first Garfield comic. Bye, buddies.
Bye.
Bye.
First is best.